Welcome back to CH4K, and this is Starfield Direct. This is the gameplay deep dive put out by Bethesda Studios. I think it was either Sunday or Saturday. I believe it was Sunday. And I decided to go ahead and just go ahead and start recording and start talking. I'm not going to do like what you usually do, like do a quick intro, then I do, you watch the whole video by yourself because it's 45 minutes. I don't think I want you sitting here watching this all again, because you can watch it on your own. I linked it in the description, so feel free to watch it without my biases or my opinions in it on your own, and then come back here and watch it with me, putting my biases and opinions in it, and basically telling you what I generally thought of the whole thing. We're gonna leave the sound on. I thought the intro.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to Bethesda Game Studios. You know, we've been so lucky over the decades to make the kind of games that we love here, and that's thanks to all of you, from the Elder Scrolls to Fallout. We love creating these worlds and playing in them.
Now, if you haven't played the Elder Scrolls or Fallout, they're open world RPGs, and they're like considered the quintessential open world RPG. If you haven't played Skyrim, or you haven't played Fallout 3 or Fallout 4, then you're missing out greatly, I've been told, on various open world RPGs. Even though, okay, Skyrim has like massive bugs, but still considered the standard in open world
just
RPGs.
As much as you do. And throughout all that time, we'd often talk about and dream up the space game. What if we could take that feeling of being who you want to be and exploring a new world, but set it in space, where you weren't really limited in where you could go or what you could do?
I want you to watch it on your own and get your own.
Starfield. Obviously, we've come a long way since then with the games we've built, our technology, and all of us here in the studio.
About that, Fallout 4, people complain that the graphics were basically an updated version of Fallout 3 and Skyrim's graphic machine engine. I saw it too. It was sort of like, it wasn't bad, but I could tell that Fallout 4 was the very last game they could produce with that engine. They needed an update. They really needed an update. And it looks like they got it in Starfield, and thank goodness.
Done so much together, but well, we've never tried to make a game like this. Today, you'll get to hear from many on the team and see so much of what we think makes our game special. So let's jump in and take a look.
I do like this. I like the show.
Starfield.
All right, let's look at the HUD here. Got a little rocket here, and I think this is it. Your HP, your health. Now this is in-game
First
footage.
new universe in over 25 years, but it's still
the deep dive we did a few months ago was completely inferior to what we're seeing right now.
RPG through and
you see the
through.
little scratches on his arm, on his jetpack here. I see little scratches here.
Starfield is our first new universe in over.
Oh my goodness.
We love exploration and rewarding it, but you do explore differently in this game, given its scale. That usually involves exploring an area you've landed in. You can collect resources.
Oh my, you can mine?
Do a mission, and maybe even stumble upon something unexpected.
Abandoned mine, okay. They covered it in the last few times. The mining, I'm really interested, actually. I was about to say a little interested, but I'm actually quite interested in like does that fit the crafting system? Also, I like the guy's rocket explodes. Hold on. He has rocket upsets and explodes because you hit it or something in the fight. I wonder if there's like a perk that lets you do that. Ballistics. Okay, kill 10. Okay. Okay, so he's a random spacer. And he has credits, he has Equinox. Now keep in mind, this is a few months away.
Items allowing you to pick everything up.
This will change.
Do all that in your data menu.
Oh, we gotta look at this. Keep in mind, everybody, this is probably going to change in a couple of months because they're updating the UI and other things. Look at the surveyed 44%. Abandoned mine, lasers certification, skill points 3, refined, Eden, frontier, class A, crew 2. Oh, a whole one. Okay, so that, I'm guessing that names your spaceship and stuff like that. And really at the bottom here, further into the unknown. This
is the hub for everything you're doing, from your skills to your ship, your missions, and your inventory. We love to pack a ton of detail in every object, from all...
So we got physics, ammo, mag. Okay. Yeah.
In your data menu. This is the hub for
evoke the romance of the golden age of early spaceflight. And we've been referring to this approach as NASA Punk. This means a design language.
NASA Punk. That's an interesting way they put that. So it's going to be like, okay.
Where the tech is advanced, yet still looks grounded and relatable.
For us, it's that contrast. That's where the visual interest is.
That's what I was about to say. Like, and he said it better. NASA Punk.
This is your star map.
Oh, okay. Like this is only in some ways.
It starts with the planet you're currently on.
This is
you can see all of its info and resources.
This is all really
good. You can choose a landing spot or fast travel to known locations. Backing out further, you can view.
Are you going to be able to manually land, or do you auto land? I'm sort of leaning forward towards manually landing because it's much more immersive and much more fun to land your spaceship that you built, land and take off with it. But if you said like, all right, we don't have the budget for that, it's like, okay, I guess we can hold off and maybe
obviously
on
the game is big, and it's here you can see planets that have key locations, missions, or life on them, versus the many planets that are barren but resource heavy.
This all looks good.
Zoom out even further to see all the systems in this part of the galaxy.
How big is the galaxy they're going to be making? Is it going to be very big?
Here you can plot a course to ones that are light years away. This uses your ship's grav drive to fold space and jump to these systems. And you will need to upgrade your ship and skills if you want to jump to the most distant ones. But for now, we'll plot a course to the Alpha Centauri system where we can find the city of New Atlantis.
Yeah, let's take up some of our fuel. Okay. Well, hold on. Engine, grav, shield, ballistic laser. Okay. I think those are the damage type over here, and this is like you put more. I think it's like FTL where you put more energy into something, the more useful it is.
Welcome to UC Space. Maintain
your
current course while we scan your ship's cargo.
No contraband on. Oh my! You can be a smuggler. So can you have like hidden compartments in your ship? Oh, that'd be so cool. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes, I'm loving all of this. I am loving all of this. Because you can join like a smuggling guild, like thieves and criminals. Oh my. Okay, I hope they don't do what they did in Skyrim. Where in Skyrim they kind of made, if you wanted to make progress on the main storyline, you had to join pretty much all of the guilds in the game. Like in Skyrim, you had to basically join pretty much all the guilds. Like there's like one or two you could skip over, but you more or less had to join the Thieves Guild, had to join the Mage Guild, had to join the Warriors Guild, and you became the leader of them within like a few months. Not only a few months, a few quests of joining it. You got promoted to Grand Marshal of the whole guild relatively quickly, which I did not like. I did not like that aspect of it because I felt like I didn't matter if I joined a guild. I don't want to say it's a bad thing because I know some people just want to get to the good stuff on some of those things, but some of their gameplay aspects, but I personally like it if they take their time, tell me a story, get the character, give my character like a sense of they have been growing and that they have achieved something. Here I feel like they just gave me, in Skyrim I feel like they just gave me things. But here I'm actually curious, but enough of Skyrim. Let's focus on this. Here I feel like they're going to do something interesting together. Like, the potential there. There's potential there. The water's safe, flora abundant, fauna abundant. All this stuff is abundant, tempered.
For landing at New Atlantis.
Sorry if you're hearing pop. That's my water bottle.
As soon as you land in a city like New Atlantis, your eyes are guided upwards to just these boundless, vast buildings.
It's the biggest city we've ever
I'm about to go back,
not just in size, but also in the amount
I like the city
of
so
custom
far.
art.
Now it remains to be seen how big the cities actually are. Like, I remember the big city in the previous Bethesda games being basically just one area, and then you go into another area, and you have to load, and you go into like basically another section of it. But it was really just made up of two sections, and it wasn't big. It was just as big as the game would allow. Like, it wasn't like a sprawling city like you would think of it. It was like more like a sprawling neighborhood, all things considered, when you put in the real world occasions. But I do think this might be big. Well, we'll see. Again, this is a bunch of neighborhoods, perhaps. We don't have it in our hands.
So the main focus when we're designing a city is obviously what supports the story. We try and tell as many small stories as possible.
Like, Cyberpunk did a good job of doing a big city. I felt like it was like a huge city, but you couldn't go into every building like they said in their their marketing before the game was released, which I think, I don't know, it was one of those reasons I feel like Cyberpunk took a lot of hits coming up before they got out there. But yeah.
This is a colony war memorial.
It's a few moments of gameplay that make the space feel like it's full of real characters that are going about their day-to-day lives.
But the city looks
It's paralyzing if you really stop and think about it.
It looks big here.
It's coffee.
It's also where your adventure with Constellation begins.
Identification. So Constellation is basically our first faction we
Welcome
joined.
to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
By the time you meet them, Constellation is sort of seen as this mythical group. Most people don't even know they exist anymore. They're the last true explorers in the galaxy, and they're trying to find the answers to some of humanity's biggest questions.
The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you.
I like there's like a deeper mystery going on. It's like a big thing, and like the first, I feel like this is the only faction that you have to join. Like, this is the only mandatory group you have to join in. I'm okay. I'm okay with just one mandatory faction, but when there's like 5 or 6, I'm like, yeah, not so much. But if it's just one you have to join for reasons, then I'm alright with that, because
The artifact, if you could place it on the
it
table.
makes sense, because they are explaining to you what to do next in
Look
the
at
story.
how it's coming together. That means there's a set built by an intelligence outside the settled systems.
It's definitely an eclectic cast of characters. You've got Sarah Morgan, the ex-soldier and adventurer, now Constellation's leader. Mateo, the theologian who believes that there's definitely something else out there. Noel, the gifted scientist.
I do like the
The
various
United
people.
Colonies is where you'll find New Atlantis, the first major human settlement in space. The people who live here value law, discipline, and the legacy of humanity. They consider themselves the true children of Earth.
You ever think of joining up with the Vanguard? Help the United Colonies, even get your UC citizenship?
New Atlantis isn't the only city within the United Colonies. The city of Sidonia on Mars to this day serves as the largest mining facility for the United Colonies. Beyond the United Colonies' reach, you might find yourself in a much more wild and independent coalition of star systems. This is Freestar Collective Space. The capital of the Freestar Collective is Aquila City.
The Stone Root Inn is an Aquila City fixture.
A ranger relies on judgment and intuition to do what's best for the people.
Ranger.
Neon started out as a fishing platform, but is now known throughout the solar
system. So I like what they're doing here. They're introducing locations. They're also introducing various factions. I think the factions are interesting.
It's a pleasure city where almost anything goes.
If you've got morality issues, this definitely isn't the job for you.
Like one of the Rangers or the USC troops. I found the name of the US.
Everyone has been chewed up
UC
and ground up.
something or other.
Try not to get yourself killed, all right?
It's feel like the law enforcement. And
outside the bounds of civilized space, there are still plenty of unclaimed systems to explore, but these areas are also home to the most hostile factions in the galaxy.
The great serpent hungers shall be made dust in time.
Is there
a new?
Just a Red Mile. I do like the fact that you're introducing the factions this way. It's pretty good.
Space.
Now let's look at character creation.
One of the biggest overhauls was done through our character generation system. We scanned a wide range of faces from different age groups and
Any of this look...
Recruit for Argos extractors? Ring any bells?
Any of...
We use that exact system to create all the...
The jury's still out? You know who you are? New recruit for Argos extractors?
Argos extractor. Okay, so I'm okay with joining 2 mandatory. I'm like all these exceptions, like 2 man, 4 management, 5, 6. But I honestly think that there might be a change or a different faction depending on what you pick in character creation. There might be a change in that. I said maybe. There's a maybe here. These are all maybes.
You start your character creation journey as though you're cycling through employee records. You'll pick from a lineup of 40 presets, and that'll be...
I should do like the presets here. That's a good idea.
To decide who you want to be. That's where backgrounds come in.
Explorer, diplomat, cyberneticist.
Backgrounds give you a bit of backstory and start...
Okay, there's a lot. There's a gangster, there's a long hauler, there's a pilgrim, a professor, a ronin, a beast hunter, a bounty hunter, cyber hunter.
Start you out with 3 basic skills.
From chef to dusty. You know, the crew still has a betting pool about which restaurant critic you must have crossed to wind up here.
What's great about backgrounds is you never know when yours is going to come in handy. You could be in the middle of a fancy restaurant talking to some guy, and suddenly you learn he needs a beast hunter to help track down a monster.
Fine. I probably should stick to professionals anyway, given what happened the last time.
We're also giving you the option to customize your build even further by letting you pick up to 3 traits. Traits are completely
Alright, so traits. I'm kind of really excited about traits. Like, I'm really excited about traits. Like, I want to know more about them. Like, this is the one of the ones I want to know more about. Because traits are completely optional, and you can take up to 3 of them.
Optional.
And I'm probably going to fill all 3 in my first run.
And disadvantages. You could choose to meet your...
Raise, enlighten.
Optional. And...
You know, street riots.
They come with their own
kid stuff.
Advantages.
Visit home, introvert. Can I do extrovert? Well, yeah.
Disadvantages. You could
hero worship, attention of annoying, adoring fan who will show up.
Choose to meet your biggest fan.
By Vectera, by Vectera! Is it really?
He'll join your crew,
yes.
And he'll give you gifts.
Yes, embrace
You're
it.
willing to put up with this constant commentary.
I can't believe I get to stand near you, breathing the same air. I've got to have every molecule.
My favorite trait is kid stuff. You have to pay some credits to support your parents, but they're very sweet, and it's really fun to go visit.
No matter what you choose, there will be plenty of ways for you.
So it'll be diplomat. Okay, I feel like they listened to everyone's complaints about Fallout 4 in that you're not really using any of your traits or skills or anything like that or background to affect the dialogue. And here in this game, they're like, okay, we're giving you all these abilities, all these stats, all these skills, all these traits and background. We're gonna let you use them in dialogue options. The dialogue trees were very basic for the most part in Fallout 4. So I think that's because it was voice acted. I hope they don't voice act the main character here. A silent protagonist would be best. For no other reason than I would prefer reading it
to tell your story. And if you want,
and then telling it my way.
You show up and try to kill you.
Oh, my you breathing.
Zealots in space, but because I had chosen a trait that made me the same religion as them, I was able to get by without any issue.
Okay, let's go back.
Same air. I've got to have every molecule.
Cyberrunner. Why don't you cut a fellow runner a little slack? Oh. I like that. I like that. Pro all of this.
That's when your journey can...
You got skills.
Ciao.
You got security, attend expert locks. I'm not going to read it too deep. Mostly, I'll pause and let you guys read it if you want to. But I'm not going to read too much of it because I want to be surprised when we play the game.
Challenges become increasingly difficult.
Oh, what is this? Intimidation. Ooh.
As you work your way to higher ranks. With our 5 different skill trees and 4 ranks per skill, there's a lot to choose from.
I like the xenosociology skill because it lets you mind control aliens.
Boost pack out of the gate. I'm boost packing everywhere.
I like maxing out my physical tree so I can get neuro strikes and just punch my way through combat.
This is really cool. Like, I feel like hand-to-hand combat was really bad in Fallout. Not bad in Fallout 4, it's just that you couldn't really... There wasn't really much you could do with it. You could punch people, but you weren't like... You had no real abilities with it. But no, it wasn't Fallout 4 that was the worst melee hand-to-hand combat. It was probably Skyrim. Yeah, you got no traits for that. You got no skill points for it. At least in Fallout, you got like perks for it. You got perk points you could add that up to. You got like a cool paralyzing palm perk on it, but other than that, you couldn't use power fist in armor in power armor, which is bad. Armor wasn't hand-to-hand combat wasn't. I wouldn't say terrible throughout the Bethesda game. It's just that they didn't focus too much on it. It sounds like they're going to focus on it. A lot of fun. So it's more fun.
Invest in the skills that suit your playstyle.
I'm very much a stealth player. So, I'm out there pickpocketing everyone. My favorite part about being stealthy is slowly creeping through vents like you're in a movie and then jumping out and swinging on people.
Whenever possible, I like to talk my way through situations.
This area's off limits. Fine, I'll issue you an access card.
I'm more of a run and gun player. I like doing the death from above thing where I boost pack over guys and I throw landmines at them.
like blowing stuff up.
I like the fact that you can mod. It looks like you can mod the guns with different abilities too. Like, it sounds like you'll be able to have a very varietous, different gameplays. You can do a non-violent gameplay if you want, and just do stealth and good speech checks.
Data from NASA and a multitude of other sources to help us make the world feel believable up there.
I think at one point they said when it came down to fun or realism, they chose fun, and I cannot agree with that more. Oh, let's go on my favorite part, the ships. And it's companion space flight. Oh, a lot of sections to talk about here.
Space exploration is possible thanks to your ship. You can quickly upgrade individual systems like your weapons or shields, or you can deep dive and enter the shipbuilder mode. Here you can change anything from the systems.
Okay, all that sounds good. No, really, it sounds great. Like, I love what they're doing here. You can just make your ship any way you want.
Here is a practical ship, but with a little creativity, your ship can look like almost anything you want.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways of customizing ships is I make them look like animals. The HMS Platypus, as I called it.
Platypus.
Where it had like a giant tail to it.
That...
We've done spiders, we've done mechs. So it's really whatever your imagination is.
I wholeheartedly support
you can
this.
Build your home among the stars.
Like, alright. Real talk, I've never really, in Fallout 4, I've never really built settlements. I've built them, but I've built them like half-heartedly. Like, yeah, here you go. We need to do this because of that. Alright, fine, here you go. But I just usually did it for money or XP or some other reasons. I didn't really build them just to build them. Here I feel like I would build ships just to build them.
You're probably not the only person who will call your ship home.
So we either find an artifact or this lead runs dry.
Each
companions, they got astronomic, leadership,
comes with their own valuable
botany,
ships and outposts, as well as unique quest lines. Each companion comes with their own
piloting, rifle certification. Yeah. Honestly, I really do. I do like the fact you're getting the companions here, and they have their own skills that are.
Unique skills will affect how they run.
Affect how the ship.
You'll be able to build and captain the ship of your dreams.
Like, this all sounds interesting.
And now, let's take to the sky.
Like the companion system feeds into the ship system. The ship system feeds into the space flight system, which we'll get into in just a second. And all that feeds into the combat system as well. It feels like a whole game. None of them feel separate. None of them feel separate. And I like that because, okay, if you've been on this channel for a while, you know that I like XCOM. And the thing I like about XCOM is that the base management section always feels like it's feeding into the turn-based system and vice versa. It never feels like those two are separate.
In the cockpit of your very own spaceship, and telling you that you can do pretty much anything. And that is really cool for us as developers. Spaceflight should be exciting and dangerous. And you should feel like you're in complete control every step of the way.
I like the button pushing. Okay.
We've extended that sense of control to ship combat. It's not about just hitting your triggers.
So, let's talk about this ship combat. Let's talk about ship in general. I really love the ships. I really like it. Because in Fallout, I have to walk. I have to walk everywhere. It gets so bothersome to do it. Also, Skyrim, I have to walk everywhere. I have a horse I can ride, but I can't engage horse combat, of course. And when I do engage in horse combat, it's janky and weird. It's not that good. You're better off getting off your horse and just going on foot in combat. Here in space combat, when you get into space and you are getting into a fight, it doesn't feel like, it looks like it's not going to be an awkward thing that you're going to have to juggle. It looks like an interesting
your weapons.
gameplay.
It's a complex dance between your piloting skills and our power allocation system.
Gameplay feature.
Boosting power to your engines will make your ship faster. Powering up the ground drives will shorten the amount of time it takes before you can make a jump.
Oh, this is good.
And moving your power to your weapons and shields means you're ready for a fight. You should always be on your toes because you're not alone out there. Unlocking the targeting control system skill will allow you to zero in on specific subsystems of the ship you target.
Again, this skills are
and stops to make on the way to your next adventure. Like these massive star yards. But you can also take a more personal approach by docking with the enemy vessel and boarding their ship.
Base combat can go into close range combat if you want to. Oh, this is great.
Maybe get talked into buying a whole new ship.
A civilian in my star yard. Let's see about getting you a proper ship, one worthy of you.
Maybe you'll dock with a gigantic battleship like the UC Vigilance.
Battleships.
Definitely go like the more piracy routes. I want to take over ships. I'm going to board ships. I'm like, this is now mine. I steal all the sandwiches and put them, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero, but I want to go out and just start taking things from people as quickly as possible.
Some strangers.
I'm not judging you for being a sandwich thief. That's fine.
Human. We thought we were the only ones to leave
Not
Earth.
gonna judge you out loud.
That DNA is so present here. It's in our random encounters. It's in our handcrafted quests. And it feels so cool to play it and just make your own path in this universe.
The ships shouldn't sound like real.
A little bit different.
Fun.
We put so much detail, much care and design this case.
Oh yeah, they got that control.
So
Okay,
why go this
yeah,
big
that's
with
nice.
Starfield? Because we want to give freedom on a galactic level. The freedom to experience both the exciting planets and the quiet ones. Scanning a planet before you land is a great way to get a sneak peek at the available resources you can use for crafting, building, and customizing.
Their habitat isn't far from here. If you could take care of them for us, we would be in your debt.
So even if your friends were
So the only thing that really makes me a little bit uncomfortable here is the procedural generating part where they mention here. I'm not really pro procedural generation. Well, not yet. They haven't fully sold me on this game because if it's just a clump of dirt with nothing too much happening on it, you didn't need to procedurally generate it. You could just left a clump of dirt and just left it fine. And like we all would have saw the clump of dirt and we all wouldn't be impressed by it. But if you put in a random place and it has random enemies on it, random monsters, random quests strewn about on it that are different from other quests that you can get. Like if the random quests are very different from each other. Like they're not just shoot up all the bad guys. But they shoot up bad guys in a special area or a different place. Like it would be interesting, but
our biggest goal for lighting.
The best thing to me about Bethesda games are the handcrafted environments.
With Starfield was to
like you never forget your first
After
time walking into one.
You can find a spot.
Outposts.
Post is, and then when you're
So
on
you
your
build
feet,
stuff
you
and
can
put it in
really
there.
decorate and
ammunition like explosive rounds.
Let's go to combat. Let's just go to combat. Outposts were good. Okay. Research project.
Mod your weapons to adapt them to your playstyle. Different weapon sights and scopes. Larger magazines. A selection of grips and barrels. Different ammunition like explosive rounds. All you stealth players out there will surely need a suppressor. You can also choose to go hands-on with melee weapons.
I think it's always a delicate balance between like what's realistic, what's sim, and what's Hollywood. And I think we sort of err on the side of like what's fun for the player.
That's a good place to err on.
With Starfield, we've completely overhauled our combat.
I see
It's
that.
more dynamic, the animations are more
Frost
fluid.
gun. You need to be Mr. Freeze.
It just feels great.
You need to be Mr. Freeze.
We probably have more mods and more weapons in this game than I want to say any other game we've done before. There's a lot of variety.
I see that.
Upgraded gear is just one of the many factors to pay attention to when engaging in combat. You may need to switch things up based on your environment.
You got thermal
Gravity
vision.
is different for each planet, and boost packs are
You know,
excellent for
honestly,
getting
I
around.
want the thermal vision to be something you get late game. Well, you know what? Thermal vision should be given to you on like a scope or like a special visor you get. Like you shouldn't just have thermal vision. You should work towards it. Because I feel like, I feel like if you give X-ray vision a sense of making the game way too easy than it should be. Like give it some
and
challenge.
for giving you an edge in combat.
Like you have to upgrade your rocket skills so you can rocketing.
Sometimes you'll even feel like you're flying.
Again, that was another thing that was like sad about the mechs, not the mechs, the power armor in Fallout 4. When you got a rocket pack strapped to it, it wasn't really like, oh, it's a rocket pack. It's like, oh, let me just go up. Like you didn't feel like you earned the rocket pack. Well, you could. It took you a while to get to the point where you could craft it.
Zero gravity environments pose a different challenge. Firing a ballistic
But with
weapon.
good rocket pack skills, I feel like if you gave the player good rocket pack skills later on and made the rocket pack really useful once they leveled up that skill set, it will feel more impactful, more important to the player. Sort of like the whole conversation I was having with the X-ray vision and the thermal vision and stuff like that. It's not interesting if it's just handed to the player. If it's earned by the player in game through a few hours of play time and a few hours of prioritizing the skills or building those certain mods onto a certain item in the player's possession, then it goes from being this like, oh, how quaint, to this, yes, I finally got that ability, to, yeah.
Weapon in Zero G will actually push you backwards. Energy weapons, on the other hand, offer a more stable shooting.
Like in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, you didn't start out as a Jedi. You sort of found out you were Force sensitive. Then once you found out you were Force sensitive, you trained with the Jedi. And once you trained with the Jedi, they gave you a lightsaber. You felt like you were earning your stripes to become a Jedi Knight. But you still, before any of that, you had to do a bunch of adventures as like a normal Star Wars-like citizen in a normal world. And you didn't have a lightsaber. You didn't have Force powers. You were just sort of just an ordinary dude. Or dudette.
Experience.
We also have mag weapons. These are high-powered electromagnetic induction ballistic arrays. Each barrel has its own targeting laser and can dish out some serious damage.
Oh, look at those super weapons. Oh my. You're just destroying them with those. Like, the late game weapons look pretty awesome. They look great. Like, supremely great. I would recommend anyone who was not sure about this game to watch. Alright, first I would recommend you watch the first Starfield gameplay trailer, then watch this one. they've updated things, and 2, I think they're giving you much more late game weapons, which I think is a better idea. They want to give you early game weapons because they didn't want to spoil too much, but dude, give us the late game weapons. Show us what we're building towards. Show us what we're working for.
Pistols and submachine
Show
guns.
us the carrot
Maybe
at
you
the
prefer
end, the
something
cheese at the end of
bigger.
the maze that we are running in this game. Oh.
Starfield's got you covered.
There's so much here. Like there's so much here. Like so much everywhere. And he's Mr. Freezing it. That's awesome. Okay, pause it right here because I wanted to talk about the variety. First, we got like robot enemies. Like I want to say mech enemies, but the robot enemies. We got normal space pirates and like spacer enemies that are just random. We don't know what their affiliation is yet. We got space monsters. We got like a whole list of different enemies. I wonder if we get bonuses for what special types, but they just give us weapon variety. Oh my! They gave us like death animation variety and and different enemies. It's so good. It's so good. This entire video could be summed up with "It's so good." It's so good. It's a nice little teaser at the end. I like that. That was a good video, Todd.
Thanks again for being with us today.
I'm proud of that presentation. Grateful. Well, I think I'll just let them say their goodbyes and thank yous. Yeah, they're gonna sit and go off the thing, their favorite parts of it too. So we'll listen to that. Then I'll give my own final thoughts.
More than we could show here. You know, as we play it, we're always sharing these unique and special moments that only a game like this can bring. When I think about what makes it special, it really is the people here. This game is a reflection of the incredible and passionate team that made it. All of them putting something special of themselves into it. So let's hear some of their favorite moments.
I love the way that our final combination of all the new tech has come together to create some of the most beautiful sunsets and sunrises we've ever had in any of our games.
I love the creatures, the exploration, every biome is different. The word that comes to mind is vast.
I like to use our photo mode to take rock star photos.
I just love that constant feel of discovery and wow, I can't believe that there's more here.
I'm most excited about our outpost building systems.
My favorite part is every time you step out on a planet, it's a unique experience.
You spend all this time building your ship, and you see it on the landing pad. These things are gigantic. It's the kind of thing that you just can't get anywhere else.
There's something about seeing a tower over in the distance and going, I know the gravity's low here. I think I can make that jump.
My favorite part is biomes, spaceships,
audio design,
planets, the day-night cycle.
Those details matter to me.
Diplomacy, exploration, freedom, the ending.
Bethesda, obviously.
I love the robots so much.
The incredible amount of worlds we created.
Sniper rifles, come on.
Lever action, rocket launcher.
Brain sprout. I love, but some people might find creepy. I don't know. I know it's right, Ben. The thing that I enjoy most about the game is the freedom to be who you want to be, do what you want to do. It's what you've come to expect from a Bethesda title, but on a much bigger scale.
On behalf of all of us, we can't wait for you to play Starfield and make your own special moments.
Main engines go. Good luck, Constellation. You are go for launch.
let's give my final thoughts. First up, let me just say this. If you're releasing in 2023 any game, I got bad news for you. You're not going to make Game of the Year for a lot of people. Starfield is going to be the Game of the Year. We always see it shaping up that way. Honestly, I'm not too surprised Starfield is so great. They were supposed to come out last year, but they pushed it back for this year, and I think that was a good idea. We don't want a cyberpunk. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things to be excited for. Like, I have a lot of like hope for it. Like, especially the various locations you can go to at random. The combat looks solid. Just the overall game looks fun to play. There's companions. The companions, they're standard Bethesda companions. So I don't know, man. I don't expect like, wow, the companions are really good here. Like, no, I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting the standard Bethesda companions, and let's see what else is on the list. Like the space flight, character creation skills, all that seems above and beyond. There's so much in this game. I see that there's a Star Wars open world game. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to that Star Wars game, but you should probably wait another year before you release, because this is going to be the game for the next few months. Yeah, everyone's going to be playing. Like, I don't see it like, oh, like a couple of weeks. Like, no. I mean for the next few. Like, you know what Elden Ring was? That's basically what's going to be Starfield, if it releases well. And some of you are thinking, well, Elden Ring has passed. Like, no. Elden Ring is still strong. Everyone still talks about Elden Ring. Like, I do feel bad for that Star Wars game. Like, I think it's Outcast or Outlaws, yeah. They have, like, no shot. Like, it's like trying to release a fantasy RPG during the time Skyrim was released. Oh, you good luck. Good luck, my friend, to making a sale during that period. Yeah, this looks like probably was going to be one of the greatest games of all time. But I would like to put up the stop sign right now and say, let's never ever forget Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's release was a huge disaster. It was pretty bad, and Bethesda has a tendency to be Bugthesda, if you catch my drift. Their tendency to have a ton of bugs, a ton of problems, and there's a lot of things they got to work on in this game. So I'm expecting supreme amount of bugs. I think that's why they took a year to work on it. They said they were done in the year the date was supposed to come out, but they were going to iron out some bugs for a few months, and then after they started ironing out a few bugs, they probably started ironing out even more bugs, which is good. Iron as many bugs as you need to. Yeah, and I can't wait to play it. Can't wait to get my hands on it. My grubby little hands on it. Hey guys, if you want to support this channel, then hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to let yourself get notified. I'll see you in the next one.